Bucknutters. Welcome into the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Tuesday, July 21st, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I am joined by Alex Gleitman. Alex, obviously Friday Night Lights is fast approaching this Friday. Donnie Corley will be there. He was on the probably list, but he confirmed to our Bill Kurlick last night that he will definitely be there. Alex, I know Michigan State is the favorite here, but what is your gut feeling when it comes to Corley?
I think, the longer it goes, the better for Ohio State. I think, as you said, Michigan State is the favorite. I was told Ohio State was a very close second. I know that the Buckeyes, sources inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, have told me that they felt they just needed one more visit for Corley to get back on campus, and they felt that they could close this one out. But it seems like Donnie might want to take his time a little bit more. He almost committed at the opening, and that would have been to Michigan State. But he had a good visit to Tennessee a few weeks back. He actually might head there on Saturday for their second Orange Carpet Day. But, he's going to come back to Ohio State. I know LSU and Georgia are two schools he wants to see, and he might even wait to take officials there as well as to Ohio State and Tennessee and Michigan State and then make a decision in the fall. So, I think obviously things being delayed are in favor of the Buckeyes. This is an absolutely huge visit. They have a chance to kind of take over the lead for Donnie. I had switched my 24/7 Sports crystal ball from Ohio State to Michigan State right before or as he was leaving for the opening because of the intel that we had that he was going to announce there. But obviously he changed his mind, and so I'm going to wait to see how Friday goes. But I think Ohio State has a great chance to land Donnie Corley. I think this visit is going to be extremely key.
Alex, did he grow up a Michigan State fan? I know he's a kid from Detroit. Do you know, did he grow up rooting for the Spartans?
I don't think he grew up rooting for the Spartans. I actually think a lot of those kids grew up rooting for the Michigan Wolverines. Obviously, Detroit's a little bit more, in more proximity to Ann Arbor than it is to East Lansing. I know that Curtis Blackwell, coming from Detroit, the kind of the inner cities, and helping a lot of those kids, grow up and learn to play football, the Donnie Corleys, the Damon Webbs, the Mike Webbers, all those guys, he has those strong relationships with those guys. So I think that helps Michigan State a lot. I think the fact that Michigan State is a program that currently is competing for national championships. I mean, they're finishing in the top 10. They're bringing in big recruiting classes, and they've done everything on the field so far that, without those recruiting classes. They've taken 3 stars, guys that maybe flew a little bit under the radar, and really did a great job developing them. So I think that, Donnie sees that their staff has done that. I think he likes Mark D'Antonio. I think, again, the relationships with Curtis Blackwell, I think, and just the comfort a little bit closer to home. I think that's what's had Michigan State in the driver's seat. He's made more visits there than anywhere else. So, again, he loves Ohio State. He almost committed back on his visit. I think it was at the end of January when he was in Columbus. He's close with Damon Webb. I know their fathers speak. And obviously Damon Webb Sr. speaks very highly of Ohio State to Donnie Corley Sr. So, there's good relationships there. And it should be interesting to see how this thing turns out.
Yeah, the young man seems very torn. Seems like he loves Michigan State and Ohio State. We'll see who wins out, Urban Meyer or Mark D'Antonio. Staying with Friday Night Lights, Alex, I'm curious, is there any surprise names for Friday Night Lights that the listeners should be aware of? Like any player or players that you thought wouldn't be there that are going to be there that are top players?
Well, I think the interesting name actually is Amir Mitchell, a wide receiver from New Jersey. I think kind of everyone almost assumed that Ohio State had moved on from Amir Mitchell after his last visit. I think that the Buckeyes, it's pretty clear. Michigan and Ohio State are Amir Mitchell's top 2 schools right now, and both have offered, but right now he can't commit to Ohio State. His offer is not committable, and with Michigan, we're hearing that he is going to, be able to commit if he wanted to, and he'll be in Ann Arbor on Saturday after he comes to Columbus on Friday with his mother. So basically, Amir Mitchell's going to have to put on a show. I think he's coming to Friday Night Lights. This is a business trip. He wants to prove to the Ohio State coaches that he's worthy of an offer. Right now, I think Ohio State, they're not sure, is he fast enough? Is he a tweener? He's already 215 pounds. Is he going to be a tight end? Is he a guy who could play linebacker or safety? So I think, while Zach Smith went to Jersey to watch him work out this offseason, they want to see him compete against, some of the best of the best. And, that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. He's either going to get an offer, and I could see him committing to Ohio State, a committable offer, and I can see him committing to Ohio State shortly thereafter, or I think he's going to go to Michigan and then maybe call it for the Wolverines in the near future. So that's one to watch. And then, a couple other guys that I think are interesting that are expected in. We're hearing that Antoine Jackson, defensive tackle from Georgia, is likely to attend Friday Night Lights. That would be an absolutely huge visit. The second unofficial visit this summer, this time bringing his dad. Last time he came with his coach. So I think the Buckeyes get this unofficial and then an official, and they could be in a prime position to land an elite defensive tackle. And then one last name to keep an eye on, I would say, is an offensive lineman, Terrence Davis from Maryland. Right now, Michigan might be the leader. Georgia, he was just down there for dog night. They're definitely a player. A couple more SEC schools and the home state, Maryland. But Ohio State, if it's the right offensive lineman, could add one more. And Terrence Davis is a 4-star prospect. That's worth keeping an eye on.
There's so much cool stuff going on at Friday Night Lights. I mean, it starts like at 6, doesn't wrap up till like after 10. It doesn't really get going until 7, and then the meat of the event is really from 8 to 10. Alex, if you were advising a fan who's coming for the first time, what is the one thing that a fan should not miss at Friday Night Lights? And you can name more than one if you want, but if there's just one thing that they can't miss, what is that?
I mean, I think the one-on-one. It's cool to see them warming up, going through drills, kind of give the recruits the eyeball test, see who stacks up. But really, when you get into those one-on-ones, I mean, there's been some epic battles. I just remember, it was not last year, it was the year before, when Eric Glover-Williams was a junior, or going to be a junior, and Damon Webb was going to be a senior. Those two put on an absolute show at Friday Night Lights, just going back and forth, Webb playing cornerback, Glover-Williams playing receiver. And, it was just so fun for every fan to just watch those guys. Last year, it was Benjamin Victor going through drills. A.J. Alexander was impressing a lot. So I think it's just really cool to watch some of the best players in the country, go head-to-head. And, I mentioned Amir Mitchell before. You're going to get to see an Amir Mitchell go against guys like a DeMar Hamlin or Richard LeCount or Marcus Williamson. And it's just going to be like a really great show. And that's the part of Friday Night Lights that you don't want to miss. Seeing, the best of the best go head-to-head in one-on-one drills and really seeing, you could really see the separation between an Ohio State-level player and maybe a MAC-level player or maybe even a guy going to, no knock on a school like, a Pittsburgh or a Kentucky, but you could really see the difference between, some of these elite talents.
Great insights from Alex Gleitman. Thank you, Alex, and thanks to the listeners out there. I appreciate you guys tuning into the show. I hope everybody has a great day. Take it away, best damn band in the land.